All right, this is going to be a shorter video than even my normal videos, right? I am not a fan, okay, of Doug Mastriano. I'm just going to put that out there, okay? But I wanted to make this quick video because I do believe that Doug Mastriano is the candidate that you're going to want to vote for in the PA gubernatorial election. And there's a couple reasons for this. I want to go through them. I'm going to talk a little bit about Doug Mastriano's history. I think it's important to know your candidates as best as possible. And so what I like to do, preferably, sorry, I went to sleep with my coach behind me, so the coach is making a bunch of noise. What I like to do whenever I'm thinking about voting for a candidate is I like to look a lot into their history. Typically, I would have done this a lot earlier. I would have looked a lot more into Doug Mastriano, but I was honestly a little bit afraid, I guess, of what I'd see. I had made up my mind when I saw who he was running against, and so I hate to say that, but it's the truth. So now I will say that I don't think his Wikipedia page is very fair to him. Okay, I see things like he's an American far right politician. When you look at his views, he's a right wing politician. He is your run of the mill, typical Republican politician that has maybe said a couple stupid things in the past. Okay. That being said, you got to think about what he would actually do for the state of Pennsylvania. So what I like to look at is I like to look at the immediate issues that have come up over the course of the last couple of years and go, okay, where is this state headed? And why would I want to vote for this person over the other option? Okay. So the first thing is that crime is getting really bad in the cities, especially in Philadelphia. I know that Josh Shapiro's not tough on crime at all. I know that Josh Shapiro has done a terrible job in Philadelphia. For example, not prosecuting gun crimes, which impact Philadelphia greatly. And so I know that Josh Shapiro is a dangerous option for Philadelphia and for the other, towns and cities of Pennsylvania because of this. So crime is an important thing that I think Doug Mastriano would actually do very well, with. Another thing is COVID lockdowns. Do I think that there's more COVID lockdowns coming? I don't think so, not in particular. I don't think that the American people have any taste for it or anything like that. That being said, Josh Shapiro would mimic Governor Wolf's, actually probably be worse than Governor Wolf on things like COVID. And that indicates to me that he would be worse on the economy as well, because that's what Governor Wolf did to Pennsylvania. Josh Shapiro also does not support fracking, does not support, getting high-paying jobs to Pennsylvania. He takes care of his friends, though, and that's what I don't like to see. Josh Shapiro is a swamp, essentially. Okay, is he as extreme as John Fetterman? He goes beyond John Fetterman's extremity in a lot of circumstances. But does he speak as extreme as John Fetterman? No, he technically doesn't speak as extreme as John Fetterman. Okay, let's go through a little bit of Doug Mastriano's history first. Okay. So Doug Mastriano served in the United States Army. That was kind of his thing. He was in the Army for years. Okay. That being said, we live in a time where, somebody like that, somebody that was in military leadership for a long time is likely to help our country right now. Now, do I think he maybe be better off in the Senate? To an extent, at least, and the National Senate, sure. To an extent, I think that his foreign policy would be something that I would respect, considering the fact that he has so much experience in our military. People act like he's a nut, but I like to think of if you become a colonel in the Army and you can be in the Army from 1986 until 2017. Okay, so you can spend 30 years or so in the Army. You're doing something right. Right, you're not that bad of a guy, because people get flagged and kicked out of the Army all of the time. It takes a special kind of person to grow in the Army the way that he did. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about his early life. Okay, so he was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, son of Italian Americans. Was raised in New Jersey, graduated from Hightstown High School in 1982. Was a member of the Boy Scouts of America and attained the rank of Eagle Scout. So, Boy Scouts get some bad rap recently, but when you look at Boy Scouts and what it means to the country back then, back when Doug Mastriano was a part of it, I mean, even when I was a kid, I grew up in a pretty bad area, with a lot of crime. But even we knew that Eagle Scouts, you had to put in the work, you had to have the respect. I mean, you had to have the discipline to obtain a rank like that. So I do look at something like that as a leadership quality that I would love to see out of one of my politicians. Okay, he then attended Mercer County Community College, where he was a member of Psi Beta, Psi Beta, and then Phi Theta Kappa. So I don't know if I don't know much about high school, so I don't know much about these two fraternities, but he was a part of two fraternities. He went to normal average college in New Jersey, which is nice to see. He said he did not grow up in a strong Christian family, but was led to embrace religion as a teenager by an on-fire youth pastor after being invited to a youth group called the Way. In 1986, he received a bachelor's degree in history from Eastern College. While at Eastern, he participated in the Reserve Officers Training Corps. So he spent a lot of time in school, is what I'm getting from this. After going to community college, he went to Eastern College, which I don't know much about, but he got a degree in history, which is extremely useful, for the job that he's going for. He received a master's degree in strategic intelligence, which is extremely useful, from the Joint Intelligence College in 1992. His education also included a master's degree in air power theory from Air University in 2001. In 2002, he got a master's degree in military operational art and science from the Air University School of Advanced Air and Space Studies. He received a master's degree in strategic studies from the United States Army War College in 2010. 2013, he completed a PhD in history at the University of New Brunswick. So the dude has a lot of schooling. He has a lot of education, which is nice to see from a potential politician. While a major at the Air University, he wrote a thesis entitled "The Civilian." I don't know what that means. 2018, debunking the myth of civil military leadership, the civil military leadership birth. In the thesis, he writes from the perspective of a military colonel like himself, who was forced to hide out in a cave because a politically correct leader has taken over America and killed millions. So that's maybe a little bit extreme, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. A professor at University of Brunswick who was listed as on Mastriano's doctoral dissertation stated that Mastriano was awarded a PhD on very shaky grounds. Brown said that Mastriano's work is dishonest, sloppy, and indifferent to the facts that contradict his claims. That might not sound great, but look, I will tell you this, that all these things start to come out after he gets into politics because of how people treat him. And I get it. He's again, I'm not a big fan. He's a little bit extreme for me. That being said, the guy has done a lot of stuff. He has a lot of experience. And if he was on the left, then he would get away with all of this stuff would be looked at as a positive if he was on the left. Okay. Like that's just reality. All right. So after college, he was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the United States Army and assigned to the Military Intelligence Corps. After initial training, he started his career in Nuremberg, Germany, with the 2nd Armored Cavalry Regiment in the area of West German borders with East Germany and Czechoslovakia. Mastriano also spent 4 years at the NATO land headquarters in Heidelberg, Germany. Mastriano was deployed to Iraq for Operation Desert Storm in 1991. He then left. Mastriano was then in D.C. in the 3rd Infantry and U.S. Army Europe. He ended his military career as a faculty instructor at the Department of Military Strategy, U.S. Army War College in Carlisle, PA. Okay, so that's right over there where I'm at during 2012, 2017, and retired in 2017 at the rank of colonel. So I actually live right over there. That's what when I saw the U.S. Army War College, I'm like, oh, cool. I recognize that name. It's a pretty cool and impressive facility. It's worth checking out if you get a chance to ever come over towards Carlisle, PA. All right. So in Waynesboro, he announced his candidacy for a U.S. representative of Pennsylvania, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. Okay. I'm not going to go through all that stuff, but he's been in PA government since then. Okay. So he's done a lot of positive things in his life. He has a lot of positive experience. Now, I will say that the couple of things that I disagree with him on is weed. I think that we should legalize weed. I don't think that it's a hill that we should want to die on. I think that it's extremely popular, and I think that that's sort of a majority rules issue in my belief. I used to disagree with that. Okay, but that's an evolving view that I've had, over the course of the last couple of years. Sorry, I just closed my tobacco. Over the last couple of years, I think that there's a lot of worse things out there. Okay, I think when he says it causes an increase of violence, mental illness, and driving under the influence, the last two I agree with. I mean, it's pretty clear that mental illness can derive from cannabis usage, although it's pretty rare. And driving under the influence, obviously, as well. Increase in violence. I mean, I think when you're talking about drug dealing, but recreational legalization would eliminate a lot of that drug dealing. It wouldn't eliminate all of it, believe it or not, because of prices, because taxes are so crazy. I know a lot of people that sell weed still, even though they live in Massachusetts, which is a state where it's recreationally legal. Okay. This whole Confederate monument thing, I agree with. It's we shouldn't be removing pieces of our history and just doing away with them, destroying them or whatever. Want to move them to some sort of national park or something like that, fine. The COVID stuff, I think we'd all agree with him on. Firearms, I think that most of the people in Pennsylvania will agree with him on that. The 2020 election thing is where he obviously gets a lot of crap. A lot of people, he wasn't on a lot of people's radar in a negative way until the Capitol, attack or whatever you want to call it. Okay, that being said, he didn't do anything, and he was just there. And he's been, deplatformed in a lot of ways because of it. He's been eviscerated by the mainstream media because of it. So look, the biggest reason why I think it's important to vote for Doug Mastriano is because Josh Shapiro is not a good guy. Josh Shapiro is not a good candidate. Josh Shapiro, literally every problem that Pennsylvania is having right now, I'm not saying that he's responsible for it, but he definitely holds the views that are problematic for Pennsylvania. So just think about that when you're voting. Okay, I would say that in this election, I can't speak to your local politicians and stuff like that in whatever counties you're in or whatever, but my suggestion would be down ballot Republican for at least the major, people on the ballot in midterm elections. And that's because of everything that we talked about in prior videos. Dr. Oz, I believe, is a good candidate. Doug Mastriano, not so much, but I will be voting for Doug Mastriano. Okay, I know this is not an encouraging video by any means, but I wanted to get my view out there that I think that this is our best route to go, and then we can make some changes later on. Thank you very much. Have a great night.